you guys are going to ask me a question about the rankings, so I might as well start off with it. We got to get better. That's going to be my message to the team. Our whole thing this year, which it kind of is every year, but this has been our focus. Let's just keep doing the things, to put us in a position, for God to bless us with how we're training and how we're preparing and how we're working. Stay humble and hungry. And then let's keep getting better throughout the season and hope that we're good enough at that moment to win. So we've gotten a lot better, but we weren't good enough to beat UConn at the time we played UConn. And so that's still our focus, that nothing changes. As far as the ranking is concerned, because some of that's coach talk, but it's real and it's consistent, is, I think that based at this time, we should be number one, based on our resume, based on, 10-1 versus quad 1 and 2, 5-0 on the road, our strength of schedule, whatever it is. But that doesn't mean we're the best team in the country. And I'm not saying that. I think we're one of the top 20 teams in the country. I think we're one of the top 5 or 6 teams in our league. As far as where we wind up, that's where we wind up. That's how you play the season. So we just got to continue to do the things that we're doing and know we got to get better if we're going to continue to win. So questions.
All right, Coach, we'll start with a question from Justin Hokinson.
Hey, Bruce. I guess you've had some great starts in the past. That 07-08 Tennessee team was 16-1 and obviously 15-0 a couple of years ago. How do you take what maybe you learned from those great starts and what this team's doing and sort of go from there?
I think take 2 years ago, take Isaac Okoro's year and Austin Wiley's senior year, that group that finished second in the league. I think we won our first 15 games. Then we went to Alabama and we went to Florida and lost. If we had gone to Alabama and Florida, we were 11-0 or 12-0. We'd have lost those games. It just sort of when these games, happen upon your schedule. And so beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Give yourself a chance to beat the teams that are going to be really hard to beat. And then, kind of play it out. Our guys know the starts before. They know, the starts. Look, our guys knew that we were 1-2 at home against Florida. We were 2-4 against Ole Miss, and either 2-4 and 2-5 against Alabama on the road. Those teams they knew that going in. Right? They'll know that we've split the last 2 years with Georgia. That Anthony Edwards beat us almost by himself down there 2 years ago. We didn't have Isaac. Isaac was out with a hamstring. And then last year they came in and beat us here. And so they'll know that. And so that'll sort of be my takes on some of that history as far as the records are concerned.
All right, next is Michael Gittins.
Coach, you got a monster matchup looming this weekend versus Kentucky, but with Georgia in front of you on Wednesday, can you talk a little bit about the psychology of managing the team headed into what really feels like a trap game?
Yeah, by being completely open and honest about it and calling it for what it is. It's absolutely a trap game, but it's a trap game against our rival. It's a trap game that we split the last 2 years with. I can point very easily to Saturday night when Ole Miss came out and for the first 17 minutes, it's like being in a boxing match and just getting absolutely pounded. But we didn't fall down. We still stayed on our feet and we were able to kind of recover and wear them down. I would expect that from Georgia. Look, Georgia, in every game in the SEC, they lost a heartbreaker to a team that hasn't lost an SEC game in Texas A&M. Last second shot. They had a 10 or 12 point lead against Vanderbilt. They were, I think, up at the half at Mississippi State. They were down 3 at Kentucky. Those are their 4 SEC games. They've been in every one of them. And so we'll talk about elevated play from our opponents because of the prize on our head, and so there won't be any surprises when Georgia comes in and plays really hard.
Jeff Shear.
Bruce, at both of your road games last week, you had hundreds of people in the lobby for a Tiger walk, and then there were times during the games when the Auburn fans were at least as loud, if not louder, than the home fans. I wanted to ask what impact that has on your team when they get off the elevator and there's a lot of folks there shouting for them.
Well, getting off the elevator means it's going to take us too long. It's going to take a long time to get out of the hotel. So I'm not as excited about that as I am seeing them in the stands and hearing them in the stands. I think it's unbelievable. I was talking to Coach Harsin. He and I were texting the other night, and I just told him, I said, man, we're starting to travel like Auburn football. And man, what a difference that makes. And I think, I'll take Frank Martin, who I respect so much, right? When we played South Carolina, Frank recognized that there was a nice Auburn following that had helped us in that game. And he recognizes that as something when a program is developing, not just a team. And look, it had instrumental in our road wins. I mean, road wins are hard to come by. League road wins are even harder to come by. And so when you've got witnesses, as we call them, on the road, it gives our kids just a little bit more courage. And our guys we want to reward our fans who made that, treacherous journey, especially home from Oxford. We knew they all went knowing the weather. They all went to Oxford knowing they could get snowed in, but they still went to support this team. We owed them everything we could do to pull out a victory.
All right, Ubias Wilborn.
Well, Bruce, that's how you going. It's like you're in a pretty good mood today. So always good chatting with you. But from there, with Walker Kessler, what did you see? One, with him not being charged with as many fouls, and then also being able to kind of get back and bounce back from 2 games where he had foul trouble.
Yeah, it was great. I think, Dumas, what it says is this, Walker is the National Player of the Year with a triple-double against LSU. He gets into enormous foul trouble against both Florida and Alabama. But there's Dylan Cardwell, who is right there, ready to fill in and fills in better than admirably. And now, we go to Ole Miss. They go right at Walker. He gets 1, but he doesn't get any more than that. And he's able to, dominate the paint. He's able to dominate the rim, both offensively and defensively, pretty much for about, 30 minutes of that basketball game. So good for him to have the mental toughness and fortitude to be able to, bounce back and help us get that win.
All right, we'll go to Mark Murphy.
Hey, Bruce, what's your assessment on how your team's playing defensively, especially in the 5 SEC games?
Say that again, Mark. I apologize.
What's your assessment of how the defense is playing, especially in the 5 SEC games? You're only giving up 68 points a game.
Look, defense and rebounding win championships. Defense will travel. It's been our focus, obviously, all year long. Some nights you're going to shoot it, and some nights you're not. And it's been a huge part of our success. We played a little bit of zone, both against Alabama and Ole Miss, that helped us at times. And then obviously our second half defense against Ole Miss was the difference. Our last 4 minutes of defense at Alabama was the difference. And so the difference is road wins. And so we're able to hang our hat on that.
All right, guys, get time for 2 more. First up is Justin Ferguson.
Bruce, what is your assessment of this Georgia team that has hung in there so much in SEC play? They've got pretty much a brand new roster this year. What stands out about this team compared to maybe the last couple of ones y'all faced?
Well, they still do a great job of getting downhill. They still shoot more free throws than anybody else in our league because they attack the rim and try to create contact. They're really good. All their offensive numbers are outstanding, and they got guys that transferred from Southern Cal and Gonzaga, a couple of really good junior college players. So they got good personnel, and Tom Crean's teams always play hard, and they play from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, beginning of the season to the end of the season.
And we're going to wrap you up today with the follow from New Bias Wilborn.
On that, the question I asked you mentioned Cardwell, and you guys have had so many guys contribute. Conventional wisdom has it that typically teams will shorten the rotation as the games get more intense. You've seen to be going against that. How are you making that work and still making everybody happy?
Thanks for noticing that. It's a career decision. Now that Al Flanagan is back, we've tightened it up a little bit, but we're still at 9, maybe 10. We won't shorten it any more than that. I've always played 9 or 10 guys double-digit minutes my entire career. That's never changed. It's never going to change because I believe in being fresh at the end of a half, at the end of a game, and overtime, and at the end of a season. And the best way to do it is to share those minutes. It's also the best way to keep your locker room in the right place.
Our coach, appreciate it.
Okay, guys, let me just finish up, if I could. This today being Martin Luther King Day, and if you don't mind, I just want to look down here and get this quote right. When Martin Luther King was in an Alabama jail on April 16th, 1963, in a letter from Birmingham, he said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly." And so when we see injustice anywhere, let's recognize that it's a threat to all of us everywhere. I want to thank Dr. King for that and hope that today we make some time to recognize that this country of ours is in a much better place because of his courage and all of us and all of those who followed his wisdom and his leadership.
Talking a little trash on the field? Yeah, we get it. Trashing the state with litter? That's terrible. Keep it clean. Keep Alabama beautiful.